So I have a question for you, James. You know, I'm seeing our audience right now going, great, so this all sounds really good, and I get to move real slow and all that, but in real life, like you said, there are some challenges, and life can be confrontive sometimes. So I know it's really great to actually have the practice and have the time at home to do that, but in real life, when you have that confrontation with life, with the world, is there something you can do to access that Tai Chi energy right then in that moment?
Well, there are things that you can do physically, but ultimately the practice of Tai Chi will change how your body responds. Okay. So that's what you're going for, is essentially a reprogramming at a deep kind of neurological level, at a cellular level, what your natural responses are. So that's one of the ways that developing a Tai Chi practice can help with, you know, when life happens and when confrontation meets you in life. But I'm going to give your viewers one very, very simple and really profound and powerful secret.
Excellent, thank you.
A really simple thing you can do, and all of you can do it without any practice, but it's the kind of thing that you develop in Tai Chi. The next time that you find yourself faced with one of those situations, a hostile person, a confrontive situation of any kind, take a moment and put your attention on your knees. And unlock your knees and bend your knees a little bit. And this is something that you will find a natural reaction, a sort of reflex response, anytime our bodies start to go into a little fear, is to kind of lock the knees. And this is something that tightens up our energy, and it keeps you from being able to really have access with the ground and that sense of being grounded. So anytime you find yourself getting in a little fear, check your knees, and make sure that you unlock and bend your knees a little bit. And you will find that feeling of fearfulness, that feeling of edgy, responsive, having to do something feeling, will just begin to drain away. It just automatically seems to just flow right down into the ground if you unlock your knees. So remember, unlock your knees.
That's a great clue for just something to do in that moment. Because I know, you know, it's great to have techniques to go home and relax and in front of your fire and with your family, but out there in the world, I know sometimes it's nice to have something that can just shift your perception of what's going on. So it sounds like this almost becomes a new habit of thinking, a new way of thinking, and it becomes automatic.
Right, and then there's lots more principles that have the same effect, that become automatic, such as keeping the body upright, making sure that the spine is erect, letting the weight distribute evenly on the bottoms of the feet instead of rocking your weight to your heels or digging your toes into the ground, but just softening your feet in the ground, sinking weight down into the lower body. And these are all things that are part of the Tai Chi practice.
And it sounds like those are also ways to be more comfortable in your body. I mean, just when you're talking and I'm sitting here relaxing into what you're saying, I'm like, wow, that feels pretty good, you know?
Absolutely.
And I know, you know, this is one of the reasons Brandy and I are doing these shows, because it's so easy, you guys, it's so easy for you to have a different experience, not only in your life, but in your body, and make such a difference in the way you show up, in the way people respond to you, and also in the way you respond to the world. There's more joy, more happiness, more sense of well-being, and just peace.
And I think you really hit the nail on the head. It's a choice. And this is the thing that we forget, is that we choose from moment to moment what our experience is going to be.
Exactly.
And so this is why a practice like Tai Chi, something that you incorporate in your daily routine, can help keep your mind set in that way, realizing that, I choose to get up in the morning and practice Tai Chi, which means that I can choose moment after moment if I'm going to face the world in a relaxed mode, if I'm going to let my body kind of settle in and relax, or if I'm going to meet the world with strength and aggression. And we choose it.
Well, I like relax. I'm choosing. I feel pretty relaxed right now. As a matter of fact, I'm still feeling the effects of the kava.
That kava's working.
In fact, I think we need another. I think we need more of that kava.
Absolutely.
Stuff, you know?
And I'd love to show the audience some Tai Chi so that they can get a feeling, if they're not familiar with that, of what that looks like.
Excellent, perfect. If you just wait here, let me set the.
So this is the form that I do. This is the Yang-style short form of Cheng Man Ching. This is a form that was developed by a great master of Tai Chi, who was one of the first people to teach in the United States. His name was Cheng Man Ching, and he taught my teachers Jane and Batan Feigao in New York in the 60s. And so what you'll see is this sense of the body moving kind of all as one piece. They say one chi, that the energy of the body is all moving together. And there's the sense of all of the movement originating around the waist and the hips. Notice the dropping of weight and keeping the body upright. A lot of the postures involve separating the weight, so all of the weight is on one foot. And I don't know, you probably can't see my feet, but a lot of the movement requires that the weight shift entirely from one foot to another. And this is one of the important principles. They talk about separating yin and yang. You know that symbol in the circle? Yin and yang are very important in Tai Chi, and they symbolize, in this regard, fullness and emptiness, weightedness and unweightedness. And the energy, the force, the movement of the flow comes from that separating yang, which is sort of more masculine, aggressive, hard force energy, from yin, which is more feminine, soft, receiving energy. Dropping the tailbone, suspending the head top, as if it were hanging from a string attached to the crown of my head. Letting the spine sink and settle down, and letting the weight really sink down in the feet, even sinking down to the ground. They call it having a root. And that's just the first third of that form. And we'll end there.
All right, so we're back, and thanks to Mr. James Serendip, Master of the Universe.
Master of the Universe. I know, I love that.
Our very good friend, excellent Tai Chi teacher, Tai Chi Chuan teacher, and wonderful hypnotherapist who's located in Santa Fe, New Mexico. Thank you very much, James.
Great interview, James.
Yeah,
really good.
for coming on the
Appreciate
show and letting us all know what Tai Chi Chuan is and the wonderful benefits of that. And let me tell you that releasing the knees and letting that energy flow through the knees, I have
really
used
works.
that since we had that interview. I'm like,
And it
release the
works.
knees, breathe, release the knees, breathe, release the knees. Go into self-hypnosis.
All in a minute. It just takes that
just
quick.
a minute. Yes, yes. So,
It's such a beautiful thing to watch, too, Tai Chi.
It is.
I know I've seen it so many times, and it's so beautiful, and it looks so relaxing when you started talking about this whole, warrior thing. I'm like, uh-oh, we're doing a show on relaxation. I kind of had a little panic attack there, but I can see that softness, that it's about, in that moment being soft. He was talking about punching the shirt and being soft, so in the face of that aggression. So I love that. That was perfect.
what I like about that is I know that we've had other clips on the show. I think it was Christopher Larson who talked about when we go into the fight or flight response that our muscles actually harden because that's a preparation for if we get injured that it can keep the blood flow down. And so our bodies actually do get stiffer. So to use your mind to know that even in the face of aggression to make your body softer. And I've actually seen James and another friend of ours, Ricardo Costa, do that exercise where he talked about where you go against your opponent, the pushing, and you can see how they just flow, and then all of a sudden one of them will fly across the room, and it size doesn't matter, but now I understand that I didn't get it before. It's when the one person stiffens and they're not able to take the energy and flow with it. So
it's beautiful because so many times in life, like I said, it happens in real life where we get to soften in the face of that contrast in those moments of any kind of a challenge and just soften, and we could do it so well with our breaths. So